Good day, student. How are you doing today? I welcome you back to music class. Our today's topic is musical notation. The objective for today's lesson are at the end of today's lesson, you should be able to identify musical notation. What and what are musical notation? Number two, you should be able to name every musical notation. Three, ability to draw stave and cleves correctly. Lastly, to name musical notes. Sit tight and listen attentively so that I can be able to get the best for today's lesson. As I told you that our topic today are musical notation. Musical notation developed from one single line used in the early days of written down church chants. Everything pertaining music, to score music, to read music, we call them musical notation. The terms music staff and music stave are interchangeable. We can call it staff and we can call it music stave. The staff tends to be the American usage, slang, language. That is what American call the musical notation staff. And in British, they use stave in their language, in their grammar. Instead of staff, they use stave in British. But in America, they call it staff. Here is a picture of the showing lines and spaces. The line and spaces, that is what we call stave or staff. The stave or the staff consists of 5 parallel lines and 4 spaces. Stand equal. The good example of the stave are your hand. In your hand, either left or right hand, the 5 fingers stand for lines, while the gap in between the fingers stand for spaces. If you raise your left hand up and you open the hand wide, you will see the 5 finger stand straight. That 5 finger serve as lines, and you will see the gap that in there, the gap stand as spaces. Raise your left hand and wide it in this form, and you can see the picture, the diagram of the lines on your screen. The staff or the stave has 5 parallel lines and 4 equal spaces. This is what we call stave or staff. As I told you, American call it staff, while the British call it stave, and they are still the same meaning. Staff or stave have 5 parallel lines. Let's move to the second musical notation, which is clefs. Clefs. In Italian language, clefs means keys. Clefs means keys. Place a clefs on the lines at the beginning of the stave. It indicates the name and pitch of the notes on the lines. This line serves as a reference point by which the names of the points of the notes on any of the lines or space of the stave may be determined. We have two common clef. Two common clef. Number one, treble clef. The treble clef, also known as G clef. And the drawing of the G clef, you will start from second line. Now, to count the line, that is the staff, we started counting it from down to up, not from up to down. So from down, 1, 2, 3, 4. If you check the string at the back, you will discover that we have the way they number the lines and spaces. You start from down till up. Now, the second line of the treble staff, you start drawing the treble staff, which is line G, and so also you can call it G clef, treble clef, or G clef. Another name for treble clef is G clef, and the drawing starting circle round the second line. The second line. The reason why we are calling it G clef in our subsequent lesson topic, you will understand. The second clef is bass clef. Bass clef is also known as F clef. It circle round line 4. If you start counting from down, 1, 2, 3, 4. The line 4, you can see the two dots, one above the line 4 and the another dot under the line 4. The two dots grab the line 4, and you can see the head of the clef start from the line 4 and circle around the line 4, and the tail come to the line 2. The tail will stop from line 2. It should not go beyond line 2. That is the two common clefs that we are using in music. Treble clef, which is also known as G clef. The second one, bass clef, which is also known as F clef. We move to the third one, which is musical notes, value, and their rest. Musical notes, that is the name. Value, that is the counts and rest. The first one, you can see it circle round. It look like egg. The name is semi-brief. Semi-brief, which is American call it O notes. semi-brief, and American call it O note. The second one, meaning. The second one look like semi-brief, but it has stem. So that is the difference between semi-brief and meaning. Meaning have a rounded head with a stem. And the American always call it half note, but British call it meaning. And you can see the rest. The rest for the semi-brief, we can describe look like graduation cap, but the rest for the meaning look like hat, cowboy cap. Now the number 3, which is you have black head or white head, shaded head with stem. The difference between meaning and crochet, meaning has open headed, while the crochet have shaded head. That is different between the meaning and crochet. Meaning has open head, while the crochet have shaded head. Another name that is American name for crochet are quarter notes. And you can see the rest sign look like flying bird. It look like flying bird. And move to the next one, which is quiver. Quiver look like crochet, but it has tails on the stem. Quiver have stem, crochet have stem, but the difference between the two is quiver has tails on the stem. The American name for quiver is 8 note. They call it 8 note. You can see the rest stand like Y. Now move to the last one, the last note, semi-quiver. The difference between semi-quiver and quiver. Quiver has one tail, while the semi-quiver has 2 tails. The two of them have shaded head. But the stem for quiver is 1, while semi-quiver has 2 stems. You can see the rest. The rest has 2 fingers, while quiver rest has 1 finger. That is the difference between the quiver rest and semi-quiver rest. Semi-quiver rest has 2 fingers, while quiver rest has 1 finger. What is rest? Rest in music is a period of silence. Rest is a period of silence in music, and it will still maintain the value, maintain the count, but nothing will come up. It may be for musical instrument or for voice or for a particular voice. Rest is a period of silence, perfect silence in music, and count the value. Take note of the count. That is musical notation. We have 3 musical notation, as I told you before. We have staff. The staff, which consists of 5 parallel lines and 4 spaces equal, and we count our staff from down, from line 1 under at bottom to the up, not from up to down. No, from down to up. Number 2, clefs. Clefs, we have 2 common clefs. treble clef and bass clef. As I told you, the treble clef, also known as G clef, while the bass clef, also known as F clef. The third musical notation are musical notes, which we have semi-brief, minim, crotchet, quiver, and semi-quavers. These are the assignments for this week. You will draw 50 treble clefs and 50 bass clefs on your music manuscript, and make sure you draw the clef boldly and 5 clefs on each staff with enough space in between. Draw it very clean, very neat, and very straight. 50 treble clefs, 5 on each staff, and space them very well. When you finish 50 treble clefs and you move on, you now start drawing the bass clef 50. Make sure that the drawing is perfectly and okay as I show you how to draw it. We have come to the end of today's lesson. Thank you, students. Stay safe and healthy.